We're going to talk about Casca. So let's step back a little bit and remember just who Casca was. She was this incredible heroine, a swordswoman of tremendous ability. She was Griffith's right-hand man, if you will. At the same time, obviously desirous of being his love interest, and he was not interested in her that way. So, in a way, she's kind of a tragic figure in the beginning as well. She is not satisfied with her life. She has just absorbed herself into the Band of the Hawk. And outside of Griffith, she becomes the leader, and a great leader. So she's a tremendous asset in the beginning, a tremendous character, and interestingly, even in her current psychological state, she still wields our introspection about her. Will she be back? Are we going to get Casca back? Here's what I know. I want Casca somehow to come out of this state that she's in. We're going to talk about Casca today because she is a fascinating subject. She is nothing like the heroines of modern day Hollywood, where she can defeat 50 men at once. She knows all forms of martial arts. No one can defeat her, not any man, no matter how strong. No, Casca is a totally normal woman put in a position where she's had to fight for her life. She has accomplished that task and risen in the ranks of men. Not easy to do, especially in the time zone that we're in with Berserk. Not easy to do at all. But why is she in that position? And why do men take orders from her? They take orders from her because she's a leader. It just is natural to her. She didn't look for that position. It came upon her because she was the best person for that position. Who discovered that? All of the men in the Band of the Hawk and the leader of the Band of the Hawk, who probably nurtured her. I'm not even going to mention his name because he's I can't go there. But he recognized leadership in her and probably helped her get to where she was. But honestly, it's all about who she was, probably right down to her genes. She is just this great, powerful, teachable, awesome woman. And that's why everybody loves Casca. Now, what's happened to Casca could happen to any other woman, heroine, that we've ever been introduced to. The difference is that what happened to her in the abyss, at the eclipse, was so horrible that it has left her a mere shadow of who she was. Now, is that fire somewhere down in her still? I can only say I hope so, because we don't want to lose the Casca who was and be left only with this shadow of Casca. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those guys holding out the hope that Casca is going to come back to us. Now, right now, she needs all the help she can possibly get from none other than Farnese. Now, look at the contrast for a moment between her and Farnese. Farnese led men, or did she? She gave orders to men, but they sort of just said, and then a man would have to come alongside her and say, "You heard the woman, do what she said." That wasn't like Casca. Casca was put in a position of real leadership after the absence of both Guts and you know who, and she willingly accepted it. She didn't look for it. Farnese looked for it. Now, I'm not gonna bag on Farnese too much because Farnese is changing. We've already discussed that. But let's not say that those two are in the same league together. They are not. Casca is just a cut above virtually every single character I've met in all my time now in anime, with the exception of one, the beloved Mikasa. Those are two extraordinary women.
I'm not sure if you know this, but Mikasa was actually based on Casca.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. A flying Casca.
A flying Casca.
Yeah.
What I will say though, just if we're talking about Mikasa and Casca, is that Casca to me is a more human, like realistic version of like a strong woman, where Mikasa is like the ultimate warrior woman. Like nothing can faze her. Like she could be like on her deathbed and then doing 100 crunches. Where Casca, I feel like, especially with like her being traumatized through the eclipse, she has a very realistic reaction to it. Like, it's not just like, oh, that happened to me, I can snap out of it and still be this warrior woman. I think that it's interesting that the author decided to depict her in a more realistic way of how someone might cope with a trauma like that, especially the type of trauma that Casca went through.
It was the horror of horrors. Not only the abyss itself being a horror, watching all of her friends literally devoured, but then facing her ultimate nemesis, you know who.
But also like the love of her life in a sense, like just having that wall broken down.
Everything got crushed in her life, everything. But who do we have left? We have the shadow of Casca. All of us concerned with, will she be back? I have to believe she will be back because she is so important to the story. I'm not reading this story without the hope of the return of Casca to who she really is, because if there's no Casca, it's just going to be one battle against another foe for Guts. But it's Casca, among other people, that have tamed our friend Guts into the man he is and is becoming. Casca brought that out of him, I think mightily so. He's a good man now.
I also think that because of the state that she's in right now, it kind of creates an interesting development for Guts, because like you said, if she wasn't there, like he would just be well on his way to revenge and destruction.
Yes.
But she kind of helps create that balance of like trying to be a dangerous man, someone capable of violence, but also capable of honing it in. Someone that like has control of their emotions, where if she wasn't there, I don't think Guts would even care about having control of his emotions. No. I think that he would just be like raging.
Yes.
And so she creates like a good dynamic for him to like grow as a character, because without that he would just be rage against the machine.
Yeah. And without Casca, he would just be the lone wolf he had always been. There would be no one around him helping him, or no one around him that he felt responsible for. He would just be on his own. He'd be tramping up and down the earth looking for his true enemies. And then after they either killed him or he killed them, he would say, what, life isn't worth living. But Casca has changed everything.
Also, him not being able to take care of her and relying on people like Farnese, Sir Lancelot, and Shyster Boy, and everyone that's come along, like him just kind of letting his guard down and being like, okay, maybe I can't do it on my own. He wouldn't have needed to do that without Casca, because he would have had no reason to accept help and companionship from people. And that's really changed him.
In some way, Casca has brought them all together, because Shyster Boy would just be stealing lunches from people. You know, if he wasn't given part of the responsibility to look after Casca. Farnese would be burning people at the stake still. Sir Lancelot, he would just be there to protect his big sister. That's all. And so without Casca, we got nothing. We got nothing. So,
and even though she doesn't talk in the story, it is interesting how pivotal she is to the entire plot. I know we had a comment the other day where people said that women especially have started talking about her like she's just a plot device, like she's not important anymore. But I feel like in her silence, she's also very present in everyone else's lives and character development.
She's the plot changer. Everything happens because of her. Remember, Guts came back to Godo and finds Casca gone. He's a little bit angry about that, but he takes off looking for her. So we have that going on. Again, in a way, in her own little way, she's in control. She doesn't know it, I guess. Maybe subconsciously she does. Who knows how deep you have to go to get to Casca. She's still there somewhere, because she still walks around and eats and everything else. So, but boy, oh boy, is she a fascinating subject. What's the author's name again?
Kento Miura.
Miura. Well done, sir. He's at the beyond, but well done. We have a lot to look forward to, because we know who Casca was and we know who Casca can become. Speaking of which, could she even become greater than she was? I think so. After all, isn't Guts greater than he was? Why can't we assume the same thing about Casca? So what am I looking forward to in the next 5 or 6 books of Berserk? The rebirth, if you will, of Casca, with all of the psychological physiological, neurological improvements that could occur with someone who is brought out of the depths into the light of life. And I think we're going to see that with her, and I can hardly wait. So like, follow, and subscribe. We love to hear from you in the comments, and your comments drive this podcast, this YouTube video. So let's hear from you. Thanks.